Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for watching. So in today's video I've got a super soft glam tutorial for you. I thought I was getting ready to go for some drinks as lockdown is now over. I mean, I'm going for drinks sat outside, so yeah, but it's fine. But I thought I'd show you what I'm doing with my makeup today, and also in case you wanted to learn something or recreate it for yourself. So I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new here, but if you do want to see how I got this look right here, then just keep on watching. I forgot my mirror. Oh yeah, I was joking. I forgot my foundation. Oh. So I'm going to start with my skin today, and as I'm actually going out this time, I'm going to be out all day, so I know I want my foundation to last. So I'm going to use the MAC Natural Radiance Primer. This is great for dehydrated skin, and especially if you get really oily as well. So I want my skin to kind of... I kind of want to keep the oil at bay today, and I haven't worn a primer in so long, so it feels really weird, but I've done all my normal skincare like moisturiser and everything, so I'm going to pop this all over before my foundation. So for foundation today I'm going to use the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. I haven't actually used this when I've actually gone out the house. I've never worn it all day before, haven't worn it all evening. I kind of know that it doesn't last ages on me because it is a kind of satin finish. It's not completely matte, so I do get quite oily, so I'm not really sure how it's going to last, but I'll just make sure I powder it quite a lot. So for concealer I'm going to use my Tarte Shape Tape. So I'm going to pop a little bit on the inner corner. And then obviously if you've got like dark circles, you can use a concealer that is closer to your skin tone to cover them up. And then just to add a little bit of coverage, I'm going to use a concealer that is a similar colour to my foundation, just underneath my eye, just to add a little bit more coverage there. That is the Select Cover Up Concealer by MAC. I haven't used it in a while, so I thought I'd crack it out. Then I'm just going to blend that in with the same sponge as before. Then for powder, I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder in the shade Pound Cake. Still can't get over the smell of this powder. I think that's one of the reasons why I like using it. But it kind of gives you that like blurring effect on the skin. And it is, I don't know if it is translucent. I think it's got a little bit of a colour to it. So if you're a similar colour to me, then you can go for the Pound Cake shade, because there is one that's a little bit more yellowy. I think that would have been a little bit too dark for me. So I'm just going to pop this all over the skin. And for bronzer, I'm going to use my KIKO Waterflower Magic Bronzer in the shade Natural Sienna. Almost got my tongue twisted then. I'm going to apply that with the Morphe M405 brush, just to mainly warm up the complexion. But this bronzer does have a slightly cooler undertone compared to my normal MAC bronzer, so I'm going to kind of tap this in place. And the reason why I tap it is because that just ensures that you get a smoother blend, so you don't kind of move what's underneath. And then once you've kind of got the colour laid down, you can then blend it out. And that is just mainly to add a little bit of shape to the face and also add a little bit of colour as well. Then next I'm going to use this Morphe Trio blusher in the shade Pop of Peach. And I'm going to mix these two shades together, which is Maker and Creator. One is slightly more of a kind of satin texture, and then the other one is matte. And I'm going to pop this kind of above where I put the bronzer and contour. And again, the same motion, patting it in first. And finally for highlighter, well not finally, but for the skin, I'm going to use the Jaclyn Cosmetics highlighter in the shade Bomb. This is one of the loose highlighters. It's probably my go-to highlighter at the moment, so that's probably why I always use it in my videos. But I'm going to use that on a tiny little fluffy brush. This is Spectrum B07. And I prefer to use a smaller fluffy brush to apply the highlight at the moment, just because you can kind of focus the highlighter right on top of the cheekbone and just make it look a little bit more precise rather than like all over the cheek. And to kind of merge all the powders together, I'm going to use the Morphe Luminous Setting Spray. This is like my go-to at the moment. And that just makes the powder and the blusher and everything kind of merge all together. Oh, bam! Okay guys, you're never going to believe it. I'm using something different on my brows today. And if you've been watching me for a while, I mean, I don't know if anyone watches me regularly, but I have found a new pencil for my brows. You know, I'm a powder girl for my brows, but Morphe kindly sent me, I know, weird saying that, some of their brow products and also this pencil, and this has become my go-to. So the colour is great because it looks so similar to my brows. Also, it has a spoolie on the end, which I absolutely love. I always want one of these to hand. So the shape has kind of stayed the same. I just brush them through first. And I always start off by kind of mapping out the bottom part of the brow. So I just really lightly kind of sketch a line following the same kind of shape as my brow, as the natural brow. And then once I've kind of got the bottom part down, I then just lightly, in little feathery motions, fill in the mid part of the brow. Yes, that's it basically. So as you can see, the colour is a really nice cool tone, as I said. And then to set everything in place, I use the Morphe Brow Setting Gel. So this has a really nice tiny wand. And this is just to make all the hairs look super neat. To define the brows a little bit more, I'm going to use the Tarte Shape Tape, the same one as before, to add a little bit of highlight and definition. Also kind of helps to clean up any mistakes as well. And I feel like that step is so subtle, but it makes such a big difference with just making the brow stand out a little bit more. So for eyes, I'm going to use the original Jaclyn Hill palette in collaboration with Morphe. Don't even go with how disgusting it is. I mean, if you've had this palette, you know that it really stains. So, because obviously the names aren't on there, I will leave all the colours that I use in the description box below. So the first colour I'm going to go in with is Silk Cream, and I'm going to use that on a Morphe M433 brush and just pop it in the natural crease of my eye all the way across from inner to outer corner. So the next colour I'm going to go in with is the shade Butter on my Spectrum B11 brush. And I'm going to kind of pop that through the natural crease again, but because the brush is a little bit smaller, just allows you to be a little bit more precise. And we're going to keep the shape quite rounded, so I'm not going to take it out any further than my natural eye shape. When you do that, you just want to kind of keep your brush and wiggle it on the outer corner, and then follow the natural crease. And then lastly, for the crease, I'm going to use the shade PUKEY to further deepen up the crease. On the same brush, I'm just going to kind of dab it on the outer corner. So again, kind of like circular motions on the outer corner. And then once I've got the colour laid down, kind of like tap it as well. So the more you tap, the kind of more colour you get off. And then through the crease. And yeah, eye look is super simple, but still quite effective for that kind of like soft glam vibe. So off camera, I just put the P. Louise Rumour 3 base underneath my eye, well, not underneath, but kind of where the lash line is, and then also inside the eye. So this is great for making your eyeshadows stand out, because I always find my lower lash line looks quite dull in terms of when I put eyeshadow down there, and also it fades quite quickly on my lower lash line because it gets a little bit oily, so that's a good trick on making it last a little bit longer. So we're basically just repeating the same colours on the lower lash line, but I'm going to use the darkest colour first. So I'm using the shade PUKEY first on my Morphe M431 brush. And I'm going to dab that into the lower lash line. I'm not too worried about it looking neat or blended. I just want to get the colour laid down. So this bit is very similar to my last video if you watched that. If not, I'll leave it in the description box. And you basically just dab it on the natural like inner corner of your lid and then just work it upwards. And then I also take it slightly higher than my natural crease to give the illusion of a larger lid. So this is great if you've got hooded eyes because you can basically like create a new lid basically. So rather than creating like a really sharp edge, you just want to like pat it on, and you want to do the edge when you've kind of got, unlike a cut crease, you put like the most product on the very edge to get that sharp line, but with this you kind of want to do the edge once you haven't got much left on your brush. As you can see, going slightly higher just makes that lid space look, or give the illusion of a larger lid space. I'm just going to blend the edges with the shade PUKEY, just on that edge of where I put the concealer, just with a Morphe M514 brush. The only colour that this palette doesn't have is like a matte skin tone colour, like my skin tone colour. So there is one colour that I'm not going to use from this palette, and I know that some people don't like that, but it's only like a skin tone colour. I'm pretty sure everyone will have a colour similar to their skin tone, or you could just use translucent powder. But I'm going to use this one, which is from MAC. It's called Blank Type. Basically, if you were just to do this without the concealer, sometimes what will happen is the light toned colour can kind of mix with the brown, and you just don't get that bright finish. So you're using the concealer as kind of like a base. This is a great like bridal look as well if you wanted to keep the eyes kind of like a neutral colour with a little bit of warmth. And again, if you want to keep it matte or shimmery, you can switch up the lid colour if you wanted. Okay, so because the lid colour is completely matte, I'm going to highlight the inner corner and also the brow bone as well to really kind of bring a little bit more light and shimmer to that area. So I'm going to use the shade Beam from the palette on the Morphe M431 brush, and just pop that in the inner corner of the eye. Really brighten that area up. So the next thing I'm going to do is line the eyes. So I'm just going to use the Maybelline Precise liner. This is the felt tip liner. And I'm just going to do a simple thin line. Then to finish off the eyes, I'm going to pop some lashes on. These are TATTI lashes. I'm not sure on the name, so I will leave them in the description box below. So for lips, I'm going to go in with Spice Lip Liner by MAC. And for lips, I'm going to go in with the Doll Beauty lipstick in the shade Dolled Out, and also mix a little bit of the Golden Girl, which is a little bit more peachy. Actually, I'm not. I feel like because the eyes are really like... Okay, I've changed my mind. I'm not going to take that off because I can't be arsed. Okay, I changed my mind. I'm not going to take that off though because I can't be arsed. I'm going to go in with YASH lipstick just because it's a little bit more kind of similar to the colours that I've got on the eyes. Okay, so that is the look finished. I hope you liked it. And also I was thinking, because the eyes are really neutral, you could go in with a red lip if you wanted. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you want to see next, and don't forget to subscribe if you are new here. Thanks so much for watching, and you'll see me in my next one. Bye!